Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Alvezi International Conference 2020. Today, you'll be hearing from Dominic Funstein. We'll be going over the automatic job import, the component upload, and the email notifications. Our first discussion will be about the automatic job import tool. This allows you to edit multiple upload jobs simultaneously, and also to create multiple upload jobs with a single click of a new executable. This allows you to import a great deal of components into versiondog without having to do it manually through the project tree. This will allow you to save time by importing existing devices without having to go through the old manual process. And if necessary, you can quickly change the job configuration settings for an entire line. To demonstrate this, I would like to introduce my colleague, Dominic Funstein, who will be showing you exactly how that configuration works and what it looks like.
Yeah, hello from my side to all. As Doug told us, you have with the auto job import the possibility to import jobs and components at the same time, and a lot of jobs and components with one application and one click. Here I have opened the command line of the auto job import. Currently it's only a command line tool without an interface. It's a prototype which we want to test at customer side, and we test it inside. And now I show you the configuration of the command line tool. I hope you will see the text and the line. I will zoom in a little bit that you can read it in a better way. So here we have the full qualified path to the application file. In this case, the auto job import execution file. And then we have to set up the credentials to start the application. In this case, we have the account versiondog and the password change-it. And that's the default credentials of versiondog. So in the next step, we have to set up the path to the VD client archive from versiondog. Oh, sorry. So here we are. So we have to set up the path to the VD client archive of versiondog to perform the import. And then we have to set up the path to the import file at which we configure the jobs and the components which we want to import. And at the last step, it's necessary to say or to configure what we want to import. In this case, we want to import the job configuration from the upload class Thematic S7. So I switch to the import file, and here I have set up an example import file to import S7 jobs into the versiondog system. I have set up the component ID for which component I want to import the jobs. I have set up the name of the job. And then in case of an S7 job, is necessary to set up the access path to the device, and then the IP address of the device and the rack and slot from the CPU. As you can see, we have more options to set up, but in this basically example, I will show you in an easy way. So I will close this and run the batch file. Now you can see it takes a little bit time, and we will receive a feedback from the shell, and we will get a result file that we can check if everything is fine. So now I can check it also in the admin client, in the job configuration. If I select the right component, I see there are the 3 configured jobs. I can check the job configuration, is everything right? And here I see, oh, I have done a mistake. I don't want to set up the IP address 221 at the end. I want to set up the IP address 223 for all the 3 jobs. I can also use the auto job import to change different jobs at the same time. For this case, I can use the result file, rename it, and change it a little bit. So I have to delete the status column. You can use Notepad++ in this case, normal Notepad, or Microsoft Excel to configure the files. It's your case. So I delete the success status and change the IP address from 221 to 223. So I save my changes, and now I have to adapt the configuration of the batch file from the old import file to the new. And now I can run the outer job import again. And now we will see that the uploads are successfully updated. So it takes also a little bit time. So, and here we see successfully updated, and we see the job ID. So if I take enter, I can go back to the admin client and can check if it is done. So, and here you will see we have changed each jobs at the same time. So in which use case you can use the outer job import? If you want to install versiondog in your company, and you have a list from your devices with the access path, with the IP addresses, and so on, you can use this existing list to import multiple devices and components in one step to the versiondog system. Normally, you have to done this manually. You create the folder, the component. You have to check in the component, and you have to create a job manually. But with this outer job import, we have a solutions in combination with our system integrators to do this automatically and reduce your time to install versiondog in your company. Okay, Doug.
Thank you, Dominic. So our next topic is going to be the component upload. From versiondog 7 onwards, we've been able to upload components from one versiondog server to another. This allows you an easy way to move selected components between 2 separate versiondog servers. There's no need to synchronize everything. You can if you want to, but this gives you the flexibility to pick and choose what you want. This allows you to very easily connect 2 completely separated versiondog systems. You can also automatically create a version on the receiving server following job execution. I believe it's also possible to trigger a comparison between those 2 components and see that with relative ease. So this is a new and much easier way to perform a synchronization between 2 versiondog servers. Dominic, would you care to demonstrate that for us?
Yeah, so now you should see again my VMware workstation with the admin client of versiondog. So I have set up a small test environment in this case to present you the component upload. I have created a basic component based on the component type ASCII, and I've checked in a small base version only with a small text document. So if I go back to the admin client in the job configuration, Here I have set up a job with the upload type versiondog component. And at this upload type, you have a special setting to configure it that you can upload a component from another versiondog server or from the versiondog server at which you create this job. I will describe you the use case a little bit later. So, and here you have to set up the network path to the shared VD server archive and to credentials with which you want to access this network path. It's necessary that this user has read writes to the network share. That we can copy the data from the share to our versiondog system. So if you have set up the job, you can start it. So I start the job at once. And now you see the upload is running, and we'll copy the data from the other versiondog server to the versiondog server which starts or which runs the upload. So it's the same thing as you know from a normal PLC upload and so on. So what's the use case of this component upload? If you use the component upload, that allows you to check if other facilities or other factories use your standards. You can provide a standard project to the other companies or to the other facilities, and at this way you can check use they the standards or not. And if you use the component uploads at your own server, you can set up a master component and can check with this master component and the component upload if your user use this standard project or this standard code in other projects. And you will see directly if they don't use, you receive a different in the comparison and the job and contact your colleagues. That's one of the use case. Okay, Doug.
Thank you, Dominic. So our next topic is going to be the email notifications and what has changed there. This has also been available since versiondog 7.0. The noticeable difference that has been implemented is that you can now determine if an email will be sent to someone for more specific reasons. It used to be such that we could only really determine if you would send an email for every job that was executed, or if you could send out a daily summary. But now we have more control. We can decide if you want to send notify an individual if the result is equal, if it's different, or if it's an error. This allows you to minimize the number of unnecessary and distracting emails that go out to engineers. Users will only see the information that they specifically want, and this generally makes versiondog a lot more palatable to engineers who maybe in the past had suffered under a deluge of emails and would like to be able to narrow that down. And now I think that Dominic, you can show us what that looks like in versiondog 8.
Yeah, so I will share my desktop again, and now here we are. So I have selected a job and find the notification configuration on the right side. So now I will show you a little trick. If you don't see this configuration here, please check your global server settings. If you haven't set up an email mode, you don't see this notification area in your job configuration. If I set up here the email mode job specific or daily, I will see the area here in the job configuration. At first step, I can set up who to notify, which user groups, which user I want to inform or to want to send up a notification after the job is running. In this case, I want to notify my colleagues from the AVESI support every day in email to the colleagues. Okay, I save this change. Here I can set up additional email addresses which are not participants in the versiondog user management. Here I can set up my private email address or a colleague in another company and so on. But the main thing what I can do, currently I will send an email all the time if the job is running. But with the new functionality, I can select at which event I want to send an email to my colleagues. If the job result is equal, for example, as a keep alive signal, if the job result is different and error, that's the most common configuration right now, and so on. With this configuration, it's easier for you to get a better overview about the job results. We will also improve the email notification function in the upcoming versions, that you can also configure an email notification if a component was checked out or checked in. So that was from my side about this. Okay, Doug.
And so in summary, we've gone over the auto job import tool, which will simplify your ability to bring in large numbers of new components into versiondog. We've talked about the new component upload and how this differs from the old synchronization method and gives you so much more control and granularity. And finally, we've listed the new features with the email notifications, which allow you to be more selective about who gets notified about what when. I want to thank everybody again for joining us this week. All right, everyone, I hope that you have a great day, and we hope to hear from you all soon. Goodbye.